We live in a time of incredible abundance. We have access to more food, entertainment, and information than ever before. Yet, rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide are on the rise. Why are so many people unhappy when they have it so good? Dr. Lembke, in her book Dopamine Nation, argues that our pursuit of pleasure is backfiring. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This was helpful for survival when resources were scarce. However, in today's world of easy access and instant gratification, our brains are being flooded with dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. When we engage in pleasurable activities, our brains release dopamine, making us feel good. The problem is that our brains are not designed for constant stimulation. When we are constantly bombarding our brains with pleasure, it leads to a phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. Essentially, our brains become desensitized to pleasure. We need more and more of it to get the same effect. This leads to a vicious cycle of craving and consumption, leaving us feeling empty and dissatisfied. Our modern world is a minefield of overstimulation. We are constantly bombarded with notifications, advertisements, and information. This constant stimulation takes a toll on our mental health. Our brains are wired to pay attention to novelty. When we are constantly exposed to new and exciting things, our brains release dopamine. This can be enjoyable in the short term. However, over time it leads to a state of chronic stress. Think about the last time you spent hours scrolling through social media. You were probably bombarded with images of other people's seemingly perfect lives. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and envy. Social media is just one example of how our modern world overstimulates us. This constant overstimulation has real consequences. It can lead to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and difficulty concentrating. It can also contribute to addiction as we seek out more and more stimulation to numb our discomfort. Imagine a seesaw. On one side is pleasure, and on the other side is pain. When we experience pleasure, the seesaw tilts to one side. When we experience pain, it tilts to the other. Our brains are constantly trying to maintain balance on this seesaw. This is known as homeostasis. When we experience too much pleasure, our brains try to compensate by increasing our sensitivity to pain. This is why the after effects of pleasure can often feel so unbearable. For example, the sugar rush from a donut is followed by a sugar crash. The excitement of a shopping spree is followed by the guilt of an overflowing credit card statement. This is the pleasure-pain seesaw in action. When we overuse pleasurable activities, we disrupt the balance of the seesaw. The pleasure side becomes heavier and heavier. This forces the pain side to become more sensitive. As a result, we become more susceptible to addiction, anxiety, and depression. Section 4. Resetting with dopamine fasting. One way to restore balance to the pleasure-pain seesaw is through dopamine fasting. Dopamine fasting is a period of abstinence from pleasurable activities. This doesn't mean you have to give up all the good things in life. It's about being more intentional with your consumption. During a dopamine fast, you might abstain from things like social media, video games, junk food, and alcohol. The goal is to give your brain a break from constant stimulation. This allows your brain to reset its reward pathways and become more sensitive to pleasure again. Dopamine fasting can be challenging at first, but the benefits are worth it. People who have tried dopamine fasting report feeling calmer, more focused, and more appreciative of the simple things in life. They also find it easier to resist temptation and break bad habits. Section 5. The power of honesty and connection. Overcoming the pitfalls of our dopamine-drenched world goes beyond individual effort. It requires radical honesty with ourselves and genuine connection with others. We need to acknowledge the ways in which our pursuit of pleasure may be harming us. This requires looking inward with courage and honesty. At the same time, we need to reach out and connect with others. Human connection is a powerful antidote to addiction and despair. When we feel connected to others, we feel less need to seek solace in fleeting pleasures. Support groups, therapy, and even simply spending time with loved ones can make a world of difference. Talking about our struggles with others helps to normalize them and reduce feelings of shame. It also reminds us that we're not alone in this. Section 6. Embracing discomfort for lasting joy. Our culture often promotes the idea that happiness is the absence of discomfort. However, true joy is often found on the other side of discomfort. This is the concept of hormesis. Hormesis is the idea that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. When we expose ourselves to manageable amounts of stress, it makes us more resilient. This applies to both our physical and mental health. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean seeking out suffering, it means being willing to step outside of our comfort zones. It means embracing challenges and learning from our mistakes. It means accepting that life is full of ups and downs, and that it's okay to feel a full range of emotions. When we embrace discomfort, we build resilience and develop a deeper appreciation for the good times. We also open ourselves up to new experiences and greater personal growth.